today in the session. I'd love to know a little bit more about what your majors, well, I know your majors, but which one of you is what, and what industry you're looking to break into. I'd love to know that. Feel free to unmute or type it in the chat.
I'm a
Nice.
marketing major, and I have an advertising minor, and so I'm trying to get into that field, visual marketing, like brand management.
Thank you. Brand management. Good. I got some good samples for you. Anyone else? Go ahead and type it in the chat. Ooh, we got some PR. Breaking into entry level. Hey, Catherine.
Hi, I'm an advertising major and I have a minor in business administration, and I want to work on the creative side, so art director, copywriting.
Perfect. That works great for agencies. Copywriting is very popular right now. Good industry. Okay, I have a few comms majors, communication journalism. Excellent. Ooh, I think I have a nice journalism sample in there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and talk about building a portfolio. How many of you are familiar with Wix? Yes. Show of hands. Yes. You get some 4. How many of you have started your portfolio process? Yes or no? Getting in there. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and dive in. What we're going to be going over is why you might need an online presence, creating, designing, and managing your portfolio on something like Wix. The best thing to know about Wix is that it is a free platform. So you can make as many of these sites as you want, and you can't break it, right? All you have to do is unpublish it if you don't want it live anymore. You're provided with a free URL that contains your email handle. And then depending on what you want to do with it, you can always upgrade, and I'll show you a little bit about what that means. So a few reasons why we want to have an online presence, especially for many of us that are in this room and the majors that we're covering, it's having that ownness of your online content. And what that means is many of you grew up with social media, so whether you like it or not, you might be tagged in something. Having that ownness and being able to have your personal brand and tell your own story is really important. So I'll also show you through the managing of your site how you can create search engine optimization or SEO that's going to help you be found organically based on that story that you're trying to tell and what you're trying to get. So of course, it's a place where you'll be able to showcase your best work, show those transferable skills, everything that you've been doing in your academic years, and being able to say to the employer, hey, this is what I'm interested in. This is how I can add value to your organization. Check out my portfolio. So this is going to be a great place for have others communicate with you, not just the ones that you're sharing it with, but those that are going to be finding you when we create our own SEO that I'll show you. So you have a nice hub, right? Depending on where you house your work or what you want to share, this is exactly what you'll be doing. It's going to be adding different social links, and also you're going to have that competitive advantage against others that maybe don't have a portfolio. So let's get started in this portfolio process. For many of you, you might have already started. For others, you might be in a different place, or maybe you're stuck. So let's talk about that, right? Having and identifying your site's goals is the most important thing. What do you want to do? What do you want your visitor to do when they're there? Who is your audience? You really need to kind of think about this so that you can then move to step 2, which is organizing your content. And then lastly, we have really branding. So for step 1, having this mindset of, yes, I'm going to be having this presence online. Who is this for? But also, what kind of features am I looking for? What do I want to showcase? How do I want to add this media? So understanding that you have pages, that you have features, and that you have a specific audience that you're catering to. And when we talk about that audience, we talk about calls to action. And what we need to know is, well, now that I have someone here, what do I want them to do while they're here? you are leading the way into how you want them to interact on your page. So think about that. A few common portfolio call to actions are things like download my resume, contact me, learn more about my work. Maybe you enter a website that's for shopping and you're trying to buy something. Maybe it's a buy now or an order now. So remember, you are creating the sense of urgency of what you want your visitor to do on that page. So you want to really think about what these calls to actions are going to be for your visitors. Once you have that down, it's really a matter of saying, okay, great, I know who my audience is and what I want them to do while they're there. I also want to start getting all the media that's needed, right? How do you want to organize your content? Someone mentioned, I want to go into copywriting. What kind of agency are you looking to work out? Are you looking to work for a large corporation, a small boutique agency? It really depends. So having that research ahead of time of who you want to dive into that market now leads you to, okay, I'm going to need some samples of this work, and I want to make sure that I organize that. I want to start thinking about these skills that I want to showcase. And instead of just telling someone in a black and white resume, you want to be able to really broaden that horizon when you have a portfolio that you're sharing. And so it could easily be a matter of, well, how many of these do I add? We always say quality over quantity, right? So again, your students at the end of the day, maybe you're in an organization, maybe you've had a few internships under your belt. It really depends. Maybe you've freelanced, maybe you've done some work under volunteering hours. It just depends. So you want to make sure you have the most skill-based projects and the most affluent and best works that you want to showcase. Even if that means there's just 3 of them, make some sort of organization of having 3 of each if you have different categories. So let's think about that. Let's start having you go into this mindset of, okay, I know exactly what I want to do. I know what I want to show. Well, let's get started with this checklist. This checklist gives you a really good starting point. Many of you are different areas. So you want to start thinking about, what do I need to add to my checklist? So feel free to add to this. Very specific portfolio things are like, okay, do I have a personal statement or an about me? Do I have descriptions of these projects already? Do I show what problem I'm solving and then showing how I've resolved it with the work that I've done? Do I have a professional headshot? Should I even include one? And that's totally up to you. Not all portfolios have it. It could be just about the work. That is something that depends on you. I get that question all the time. Do I want to add a resume in there? Do I make it private? And I'll show you how to do that. And any certifications or anything that you've completed, feel free to add those to your portfolio. But add to this checklist as you're building that portfolio for yourself. Now, I'm a visual learner, so something I always encourage students to do is also create a sitemap. A sitemap is going to be the flow that your visitor is now going through. So it could be the homepage, okay? An about me page, maybe this houses your resume. Maybe your projects or your portfolio page has subcategories or subpages of what that could look like. And then of course, a contact page, because not only are you sending this out, but if you get found, you want to be able to have those follow up with you, okay? So things to think about when you're building your sitemap. This really gives you that organization and creation of setting a flow for your visitor. All right, we leave branding last because Wix has over 900 templates for you to choose from. And so from there, you don't have to worry about purchasing them. They're free. Again, you can make as many of these sites as you want. I've had students that maybe are choosing 2 different industries and they end up making 2 different portfolios. So totally up to you. But really important things to note for many of you is, what does a brand look like? What does it entail? It could be anything from a font color. It could be anything from the way that you've organized it, the tone that you're writing in. It could even be in the kind of logo that you create, right? Is that something that is across all pages on your site? Maybe it matches your LinkedIn, and then it matches your resume and a cover letter. So think about these things as you're building a brand for yourself and what that might look like. Okay, I've added a few tips here for you. But let's start with an example. We have here Rebecca Gladstone, and I love showing her because she covers all the bases that we talked about. She's a designer. We're going to go through the site. I'd love for all of you to leave me some adjectives here in the chat. We're going to go through her page and go through her portfolio. Let me know 3 things that come to mind as we go through her site. Okay, now we're opening up her projects pages. Okay, I love the way that she even creates storyboards just with using mixed media here. Okay, 3 things that come to mind. Add them in the chat, or feel free to unmute. All right, we got some consistent, lots of imagery and colorful, retro, colorful, personable, movement, consistency, interactive. You all have some sort of a theme here, right? And I want to say we've been on her page for less than a minute. Think about that. It takes about 30 seconds, 60 seconds for a recruiter to look at your resume because they're scanning for something specific. But when you're sharing a portfolio, they are about to spend about 3 minutes on average, especially when it's a media portfolio. They're getting to know you, going through your projects, really understanding what it is you're creating. Many of you mentioned a little bit of consistency. She's created that. She's organized her projects to, 1, have some sort of media, whether it's an image or a video or a description. She's including what it is that she did there and her role. And then she's even included maybe even a few sliders or videos of what her work is or what that process was, creating storyboards, talking about that organization and what she did. And then as you go through the different projects, you're even able to notice that, hey, a lot of these are nonprofits. Maybe she has a passion for working with nonprofits. So there's like a theme going along here, okay? So think about that. You're showcasing a skill. You're showcasing an opportunity of what you can do at a company. And you're able to do all of that visually or even by writing or even adding movement or color, right? You're getting a sense of the kind of personality that this person is, which is exactly what a portfolio does. It showcases a little bit about who you are. She happens to have a headshot, but also dives in deeper in specifics of what her intention is on her portfolio. Her contact form includes a form that can be filled out, maybe even a future client, customer. But most importantly, she's giving a professional email. Recruiters love a professional email so that they can communicate with you quickly. She's including her professional Instagram, showcasing even more of the work that she's done. And even more importantly, she's building on that network. She's inviting the visitors to connect with her, to build her network, and be able to communicate with you professionally. All right, so we saw how we could do all of these things with this portfolio. This is just a really great sample here. I've included additional samples that I'd love for all of you to go through. I'm sending this deck to Bouquet so that you can go through these on your own. I've added a nice variety of industries, majors within the context that we're talking about, but also I made sure to add a nice flush of templates so that you can see how these students were able to make these unique just by editing and making the branding on their own. Okay, so what we're going to do next is just dive into what is Wix, how do you get started. All you have to do is go to wix.com. Again, it is a great opportunity for students to sign up. It's free. You'll be able to be given an email URL, especially when you're signing in. Have that in mind as you're using your email to create a login, as your email handle is being used as part of that for URL. I've seen some very interesting URLs, so just kind of keep that in mind. And then you are going to get a few questions, and it's going to ask, like, what are you trying to build here? And essentially learning a little bit more about you so that you can get matched appropriately with the purpose of the site. Once you get started, you'll be taken to the dashboard and you can get into a new site by clicking on design site. So that's how you'll be able to get started. Then it'll ask you, well, what are you trying to do? Do you want to customize a template that's already been made? That's over 900 of them, designed by our in-house developers. Or do you want Wix to just make one for you by answering questions? When you're starting out, I definitely want you to just click on a customized design site. It's a lot easier to edit. You'll know the difference if you end up choosing the other one because you'll come up with some difficulties. So starting out, just customize a template that's already been curated for you, and then you'll go to the templates page. So let's go through this together. Feel free to open up another tab if you'd like and follow along. I'm just going to go ahead here and skip through some of these. I want to make sure that I am going into the templates page, and I'm going to begin with a template. Okay, any questions so far? Nope, not yet. If you do have questions or something you want me to show you, feel free to add it in the chat. I can go ahead and go over it and even show live a feature that maybe you're looking for. Okay, so what you'll notice is we are in the templates page. You even can go through the different categories and see what best fits your need depending on what you're doing. Okay, maybe a lot of you will fall under creativity, but you can also search for it here in the top right-hand corner. For us today, what I'm going to do is click on creative, and I know I want a portfolio, and I know I want to have some sort of resume attached to it because my intention is to show it to an employer, a recruiter. Maybe I just went to a career fair, an internship fair, and I'm ready to share it out to get that opportunity. So you're going to see here plenty of options. When you scroll over, for those of you that haven't used Wix yet, you can click on either a view or an edit button, and I want you to click on that view button. This gives you an opportunity to test out that template, look at all of the different features, go through it in its entirety and say, you know what, this is really something that I like. I like the way that it's laid out. It's got a lot of different areas that I know that I can highlight myself in. And if I go through the different menu items, I'll be taken to that. So this is one of those templates that it's a one scroll effect. And the menu items here are anchored to that section, which means it just takes you directly to that section. Okay, you can even test out the template by looking at what it looks like on a mobile view. So if you click here on the little mobile icon, all the templates are already ready to go and set up for you to show them and view them on a mobile device. So a huge plus, right? All right, so let's just say you wanted to use this template. You can easily just click edit this site, and it'll take you to there. The one I'm going to work on today is this one. And I want to open this one up because it has all those features that I like. I already know that it has a resume section. I know that it has a projects page because I want to showcase my projects. And I like the way that it has a clear landing page. Okay, and it's inviting my visitor to learn more about me. As Wix builds it out, it's opening and creating all the different tools that come with this template. You'll also notice this past summer an AI craze, something that we've already had within our system, but you'll notice that we added as a pop-in. If you've done section 1 and 2 and started that process of building your portfolio and you have your content, you can even start writing some of it in here, some of that summary. You can say, I'm a junior. Let's see what we have here. I'm an advertising major with a minor in business, and I'm interested in creative strategy and brand management. You can easily add that in there, and the AI will auto-populate a nice about me and enter it in the different sections of the template. I'm not going to show that today. You can play with that later. What I want to show is all the basics to get you started with your portfolio. So we're going to go over these first 4 here. Buttons on the left-hand side, add elements, add section, pages, and site design. To get started on editing this template, you can click on the screen and you'll notice that it'll take you to this quick edit view button, either for your header, your body, or your footer. And this is going to give you this bird's eye view, okay? And you can make those changes instantly and you'll be able to see them. So for example, if I wanted to remove my name from here, I can get started on doing that. I can do an example here. What do I have? Communications. Now I would ask you, Allison, if she's still here in the room, what is it that you want to do in communications? Is it a certain area, a certain industry? And you can give yourself a title here, right? So communications manager is what we're going to go with. But she also has journalism, right? So you could add something else to that depending on what your area of interest is. And then here for the hello section, this is where I'm going to want to write my name. And I can remove this blurb. So you can easily see how I can start making those edits and those changes by either using the quick edit button, or I can double click here and choose an element, whether it's a text or an icon, and I can make those edits by clicking on one of my floating menu buttons here, edit text, and I can easily and individually change these different elements to make it unique for me and my site. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. I can show you how easily we've already kind of edited that first fold. So each and every single one of these elements, whether it's a line or an image or text, we can further edit individually, or we can do it under the quick edit button with the bird's eye view. So I'll just start going ahead and making a few more of these edits, changing the size here. Maybe I want to change the color. Maybe I want something that's a little brighter so it'll pop. And I can further make those adjustments and move around my items. Maybe I want my paragraph, my about me to be a little bit closer. Okay, so we've already seen how easily we can make edits to the page with the editor. Okay, but what else can we do? We'll notice here on our Add Elements button that we can add just that, other features. It could be more images. I've seen students make a nice variety of different call to action buttons and icons. If you want to add a new section, that's what a strip is. Maybe you're looking to include vector art, maybe something, a logo you want to design. I've seen students do that. Maybe you want to add a little bit more movement to your page. So for example, if I wanted to add, I don't know, additional movement, I always use this example just to kind of show you how easily you can do this by using maybe even a transparent video. Okay, and adding a little bit extra to your page. So if we click preview here in the top right-hand corner, you can easily see that now I've added something different to the page. Totally up to you. Maybe it's something that you've created and you want to transfer something like that to your page. I can add it to my background. I can add it to the foreground, but it's just nice to be able to see a nice different detail to your page. So that gives you an idea of all the different elements that you have in here. Of course, if you want to add a gallery of your work, add sliders like we saw an example in Rebecca Gladstone's. Maybe you have video, maybe you have motion design, different content that you want to showcase. Play around with each and every single one of these so that you can then be able to add different features to your site. Now, if we have here our second button, this is a shortcut of adding a section to a page that you're working on. So if I wanted to go on ahead and say, you know, I'm going to go ahead and add some testimonials. I'm going to use the letters of recommendations that have been written for me, and I'm going to add them in a fun way here in my portfolio. Now I'm going to bring this down and say, you know what? I have here a letter of recommendation of a project that I worked on, and this is going to be for example, maybe I'm in a student organization and my faculty advisor wrote something about me, and now I can attach this to a project that I've worked on, and I can attach this and have my visitor click on this by choosing the chain link icon, And this template has a projects page. So now it's going to take them directly to my projects page. And maybe here I am going to talk about an internship I was in, and that manager has a letter of recommendation for me. And I want to highlight this project that I did while I was working at this company. So let's see a few things that we did here. We have on preview, one, I'll be able to see all the changes that I've done, right? But I can also test out what I am linking. So this now takes my visitor to the projects page, and I'll be able to start kind of catering that to whatever my audience is and my intention, okay? If I want to start navigating the different pages that are in this template, I can click here on my third button, okay, which is pages and menu. I'll notice that I have my About Me section. That's my first fold. I've been able to include a nice little testimonial section. Gearing back to my projects, I have a nice resume page that I can edit. And of course, my projects page. So what I'd love to show you next is how easily you can add a page. I know we talked about consistency that we saw in the example with Rebecca Gladstone. So how can I do that? You can either add a page here from the bottom blue button. You'll notice that Wix has a nice variety of different little sample sites that you can choose from. Or you can start on a blank page. But what I want to do is show you how easily I can make this a repeated page just to have a nice theme going. So I'm just going to duplicate this, okay? And I'll add a new name to it. And I can call this, what was I? I was a comms major. Someone mentioned copywriting. So maybe I have some options in here. So I can easily just edit this. And this will be some copywriting samples. Okay. And what's another page that we can make? I'll duplicate this. And I can maybe say this is some of my branding media. Okay, so I'll go ahead and edit this page. All right, we've just made an additional 2 pages. Notice my menu button here in the back is expanding. But I don't want this to be different menu items. I want it to live under my projects page, like a sub page or category. So I'll easily just drag and drop. Everything is very drag and drop here. Notice my menu pages got back to normal. Let's preview this that I just did. And if I scroll over my projects page, now I have categories of my work. So many of you are going to have different categories. You want to showcase different things. And now you'll be able to do that easily by creating pages and then creating categories of your work that could be showcased. All right. And you can easily go in here and say, I want 3 branding media items in here. Maybe I want 2. It just depends on how many you have. Maybe I have 4 or 5 that I want to show. You don't have to show everything. We always say you want to show the best of your work. So if you have 2 or 3, think about what those numbers are going to be like so that you can have a nice variety in your categories. All right, so we've done so much. We've made a whole site, a portfolio on Communications Manager, and I'm highlighting these 3 different areas of focus, my projects within copywriting and branding media. Maybe I have a whole logo section. Maybe I have a whole strategic communications plan for social. It just depends what you want to showcase. And you can talk about that in your About Me section. Now, if I go here to my resume and you're wondering, well, how do I add a document or how do I add something that I've created? You can easily, for example, if this particular page has a call to action button to view and download the resume. Depending on your industry, maybe CV isn't the right word. So maybe what we can put here is view resume. And I'm also going to click on my chain link icon. Again, this gives me an opportunity to connect this to any section on my site. So in particular here, we're going to choose, hey, I want this to be connecting my visitor to my document, which is my resume. So you can upload this file. Okay, we'll go ahead and show here from my computer. I'm going to pick here my resume. My file will be added here. I don't see any questions so far. Okay, let's test it out. Always test it out. And now if I click here on my call to action button, enticing my visitor to view my resume, I can download it. The recruiter can now print it out and call me for an interview, right? So a nice variety of things for you to notice. The next thing that I want to show you is how easily, if we wanted to launch this page, we can do that. Let's just say I'm ready to have this sent out to 10 different employers. I'm happy with it. I'm able to do a nice variety of things. And I'll go ahead and save it. Saving it also gives me the opportunity to even edit the free URL link that is provided to me. So I can easily say comms portfolio. Okay, notice I have my email handle .wixsite.com/whatever you want to name it. And just like that, my URL has been provided. And now I want to launch it. So I can click publish now. And within seconds, anyone I share this link to, I can send it out. Let me just go ahead and add this here in the chat so you can just kind of go through it if you want to on your own. But you can easily see that my site is live. I can go into every section in here that I've created. I can see the different categories I have. I can go to the resume page. Your visitor will have access to all of these things. Now, if you have new projects, new work that you want to add, you simply just have to go on ahead and click publish again. Always publish any changes or edits that you've made so it'll show live, especially if you've already gone live. You want to make sure that you always click publish. And then from here, what else do I want to show you? Your free accounts will have, again, your URL that's provided to you and the Wix banner. For many of you, you came in today. I am providing Luki with a premium code that is going to be given out. I think she mentioned to the first 25. The students will have access to upgrade. What that means is, what are some reasons a student wants to upgrade? Maybe they want this to say CatherineMartinson.com, right? Or AllieSeltz.com. Maybe you don't want the Wix banner on the top. So it'll give you access to a free domain if you want to have that. And it'll remove this banner for you. Now, for some of you, you might ask, well, what happens if I run out of the year and it's not free anymore? It will charge you, but what if you don't want to use it anymore? What I always tell students is you don't lose the site, you just lose the domain, right? And so it'll just go back to your free domain, but the site doesn't die unless you unpublish it. So really important to note, that's a question that I get a lot from students, but totally up to you. If you want to upgrade, you don't have to. The site in itself, all of these things that we did is something that is free. And so other things that I know that you might like is we saw a lot of movement. Engagement is really great for when your visitor, especially when they first land on their page. You can easily add movement by clicking on this animation icon button here that looks like a little diamond shape. Notice that you can even test out some of that movement. So feel free to play around with it. Add some movement on your site. You can add it for different sections. You can maybe add it for, I don't know, maybe for this fun little icon. You can do it for each one. Totally up to you if that's something that you want to do. You can even set timers on it. So if you had like maybe a bunch of a variety of icons or little images, I've seen students move it all around and set it on a timer so that it loops. Totally up to you. But that's how easily you can make the movement. You can make and change the background if you wanted to, simply by changing the background. If you wanted to change the image, you can do that as well. So you can click the change image button. You'll have your site files. This is what you upload in here. But I also like to show media with Wix. Maybe you don't have a lot of content. So there's thousands of images, videos, and illustrations that you can choose here. So just to kind of show you an example of a headshot, just pick this one here, and I can easily make those changes. You can edit the image further. You can change the shape by cropping it. You can add a filter if you wanted to, and of course movement, which we already added. Now, if you're thinking of, well, how else can I personalize it? I've made these edits, but what about the colors? Like, what if I want to add my own colors? You can easily go here to your site design button, and you can do a few things. This template comes with this theme set that's here, but you can easily change either individual colors, or you can even try on some of the different colors that Wix has already set up together for you. I like this peach tone, so I can easily change that, and now all of my site colors are changed. Again, you choose how you want to edit and update and brand it for yourself. So just like that, we've been able to do that very quick. Gosh, I want to say in like 20 minutes or so. But think about it, the more you have planned and pre-done ahead of time, the easier it is for you to just plug some of these things in. If you're wondering about socials, or I know a lot of students use Behance, you can easily search up a nice variety of third-party products. So if I have here a Behance, I can add this icon in my social link. Maybe I don't really want to share Facebook and Twitter. Maybe I want these three, and you can easily just add that URL link here. Okay. And now your visitor will have access to it here. Okay. Any questions about that? I know that's something I always get asked about. Okay. So really quick, we've built out a whole portfolio. Of course, I'm going to click publish because I made a few changes. So I want to always reiterate that. Hit publish if you make changes or edits. And then for the back end on how to manage your site, there's so many tools in the back. So you can click on this Wix icon button here, and you can do a variety of things, really depending on the template that you choose, the apps that you attach to it. So for example, here under the contact section, I can easily say, you know what, I want to start keeping track of the employers that I'm sending this to. You can upload their information. You can email them from here directly if you wanted to. If you have forms that you want your visitors to fill out, or chat boxes, all of that communication is going to be in here. Notice you can add a chat box, and it can have questions that you set up, and it'll be working while you're sleeping, or you can add forms, and then you'll be able to see what they fill out in here. You can attach an email. If you want to check out the different marketing and tools that are available, a nice variety of templates that you can do everything from here. You don't have to leave Wix to do it. But most importantly, SEO, I know I mentioned search engine optimization. How do I make it so that I can be found organically? You can easily get started. We've partnered with Google. And so what you can do is create those taglines or those links that are going to match your page. So what do I mean by that? I can easily start saying, what's the name of my site? I can easily say Ellery Rojas. I can spell my own name, communications portfolio, right? And I want to cross like county lines. I want to be international. Maybe I want a job opportunity in London. I don't know. But what I mean by taglines is, what are those keywords that you type in when you Google? You want to add that in here, right? So I can easily say Ellery Rojas copywriter, right? I think we mentioned Ellery Rojas. I can say UTK. Just think about those things that you're going to be including. Make sure it's not too broad, because of course you'll get too many people showing up or populations. Be very niche, be very specific to what you are showcasing so that your website can be found. Okay, and just like that, Wix says, okay, great, just finish these last few steps, which we didn't really get to do a lot of that here. and then connect to Google, and now you'll be found, okay, based on the criteria that you've added. Important to note, this is free and organic, and you can add SEO to anything, any projects that you add, any video, if you decide to use a blog, anything, and it's free, so you'll be able to use that. Something else I love to show students is the analytics page, because now this gives you an idea, especially if you sent it out to like 10 recruiters. What are they clicking on? What is it that they are paying attention to? What are those projects that are standing out? And so that's exactly what you'll be able to see here. Obviously, I have no traffic. I just launched it, but you'll get an idea of, hey, maybe I should add more of this project because this seems to be pretty popular, or maybe I should do XYZ because of what's going on my page. You'll be able to really manage that and understand what's going on with the insights that you get. So that's pretty much it. Using Wix, how you can easily look for templates. You can start from scratch if you wanted to. You can look at great ideas. You can use any template in here. You don't have to get stuck in one category. We have our first question. Is it possible to add a PowerPoint presentation to my projects page? Of course, you can definitely be able to upload that. Okay, especially if it's a PDF, you can easily make that easily done by even adding an app. And you can say, you know, I have these PDFs and maybe I want to show it in this way, and you can choose an app. You can choose free ones. There's some apps that require you to upgrade, so really pay attention to those things. But if I wanted to add this to my site, I'll be able to view what it looks like. I'll be able to see if it gives me a nice little icon. Maybe I want the whole page view to be seen. So just to kind of give you an idea, let's move this section a little bit more. If I make my slide deck, if it's a Google Doc and you leave it open for everyone, you can make it so that it's a button that you click, or you can make it a widget like we see here, and you can add the document and drag it in here and add it, and then people will be able to see it. So let me see if I can do an example with this PDF. Okay. And you can even add a watermark to it to make it so that people don't copy it. It just depends on what you want to do. But you can use this one, or you can use this other PDF one that was next to it that I like to show an example of, because this gives you an option to even give it an icon and a look. Or you can have it look like this, where they can slide through the document. Okay. Tons of options for you to choose from. You can upload your doc, make it into a little thumbnail. You can change the way that it's displayed. You can even give it an image or a view. So you have plenty of options. It just depends on what you want to do. So you mentioned if it's a PowerPoint, maybe you do it on a Google slide and it'll be linked, so you can just click it, or you can do it as a PowerPoint, download it as a PDF. Okay. And then you'll be able to use a nice little app that'll add it in there like that. Great questions. All right. I see Bookie's here. Not sure if I have a time limit or a time cutoff. Just a few other things here that's in the deck that I'll be sending over to her. Again, if you choose to have the upgrade opportunity, for those that are going to have the code available, it'll be a core or light premium that you'll have access to. So it'll be core or light, free for 1 year. And additional resources, anything you can possibly think of, you can check in here under the Wix support, and thousands of articles for you to go over. Of course, if you want to learn how to use any specific features, we have Wix Learn, which is free, and you can even certify in a few things. So feel free to go in there in the video library to learn even more. I've added a great link that gives you a good options and features of what to add to a portfolio. I thought that would be great for all of you. So you can take a look at that. And of course, the most common questions that I get. So feel free to go through the FAQ page on how you can do any one of these things. But that's pretty much it. any other questions? I don't see. I want to thank all of you for coming to my session. I'm excited and happy to have you, and I can't wait to see what you create. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. Any other questions that we might have? I don't think I see any. I look forward to seeing your work. Thank you so much.